Happy Friday. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi here with your 9 News Watch as well as your Facebook Live weather update and the overall story for us here as we are talking about an absolutely magnificent day. Get outside and enjoy it because all this really nice weather we're talking about here today, you can wave goodbye to that because by this weekend and early next week, it's going to be just sizzling. We're going to be talking about 90 plus temperatures, but we don't have that right now. It is, I would say this is a top 10, top 15 weather day that we'll get all year. Sunshine, highs around 80 degrees, maybe a little windy for us, but those winds will back off as we head throughout the rest of the day. There's the view over at Lookout Mountain, where it's a little hazy as well. We're getting some of that wildfire smoke from some of those fires out in Utah and Arizona. That is adding a little bit of haze to the sky, but the air quality is considerably better than what we were talking about this time yesterday when we had all those air quality alerts in place throughout the Front Range. We also had those back on Wednesday. I hate to say it, we're probably going to have those back in place early next week. But live for the moment, right? And those temperatures right now, they are just magnificent. 70 for us in Denver. We have our high right now, probably our forecast high is going to be about 80 for today, but I'm going to say we're going to struggle to even get there. I don't think anybody's complaining about that. A lot of 70s and 80s. Mountains in the 60s. Perfect day for a hike or any sort of outdoor activities. And look at that 24-hour temperature drop. I mean, bowling ball off a table, right? 20-degree drop for us in Denver. We had that dry front work its way on through late last night, and that has plummeted those temperatures for us along the Front Range. You get into the mountains, we felt less of the influence from that front, so that's why we're seeing those temperatures maybe not quite as dramatically cooler, but even places like Steamboat and Meeker are seeing a lot of those cooler temperatures here on this Friday. It is a one-day cool front because those 90s will be back after we got up to 95 back on Thursday. Hottest day so far this year. Thursday, of course, being yesterday, we got up to 95. We've already had 5 days at 90 plus so far this year, and we averaged 44, although last 20, 30 years, we've noticed those numbers tick on up, and we are going to probably get back into the 90s as soon as tomorrow, and then we're going to start a streak of 90 plus degree temperatures. And speaking of tomorrow, there's a look at those forecast highs where we'll be back up into the low 90s for your day tomorrow here in Denver. You get into some of those cooler suburbs just west of town, you get into the foothills, 6,500, 7,000 feet or above, and you'll be more into the 80s. So hot, not quite as dramatically hot as what we saw here on your Thursday. Here's the other part of everything, though. We're still going to stay on the dry side. Current satellite and radar, nothing, not a zip zilch, nothing for you there on the satellite and radar imagery. And this will stay roughly the same as we get into tomorrow. Could see a spot storm or two in far southern Colorado, but I think we're going to stay on the dry side. Now, getting into that 7-day forecast, oh boy, yeah, look at that. I'm going to wager a bet that we're going to get up to the triple digits at some point next week. That would make it, by the way, our earliest 100-plus reading since 2013. With the story here, it is hot and dry, followed by hot and dry weather, and it's not until the middle to end part of next week that we get even a real isolated chance for showers and storms back into the picture. And until then, those temperatures just going to be absolutely cooking for us here along the Front Range. Probably looks like that Tuesday, Wednesday would be the hottest days of that stretch, but overall it's going to be really, really hot. And notice, by the way, those 90s consistent. If you're curious about our average high for this time of year, we're about 82, 83 on average this time of year, and our average high in Denver doesn't get above 87 degrees. So when we're talking about 90 plus for this long of a stretch, that is exceptionally unusual, and it's thanks to a big ridge of high pressure that is just anchored over our area. So I'm going to go through and take some of those questions that you might got. And by the way, of course, if you're joining us on Facebook, feel free to type in those comments below and those questions, and hopefully we'll get some of those questions answered for you if you got any of those about this really hot forecast. Seth asks how it's going on Friday afternoon. Things going A-OK for us here at the 9 News Weather Center. And again, the story for us continues to be that heat. And it is nice, I will say this, it's nice to have one of those days where you can walk to the car and you don't end up just completely covered in sweat. Today is one of those days, but it's literally the only day we're going to have probably for the next week plus. And I was actually just taking a look at some of those long-range computer forecast models. It's probably not until next Sunday, a week from this Sunday, so 9-10 days out, that we see any sort of real relief from that exceptional heat force. So probably Sunday, I believe that'd be the 21st, Sunday the 21st, and Monday the 22nd, where we actually see some pronounced relief from all of this heat. So certainly going to be keeping an eye on that. Wendy says how She loves that today's weather is perfect. That would be the best way to describe today's weather. Again, I think today's a top 10, top 15 day that we'll get all year here across the Front Range. Those temperatures into the low 70s right now. Again, we'll probably get close to 80 later on this afternoon, but if I had to put a bet on it, I would say we'll probably stay in the 70s all day long and enjoy it, because again, we're probably not going to get a whole lot above that as we get over the next little while. Again, a little blustery out there, so it might make it feel a little bit on the cooler side. And again, if you got a comment or a question below, let me know. I want to actually take a look one more time at those highs for tomorrow, because we do get those highs back up into the low 90s. Again, we're not expecting much in the way of rain, so if you're looking for any sort of rain chances this weekend or any sort of outdoor barbecues, anything like that, we're going to be on the dry side. You get into far southern Colorado, we're talking about, again, Trinidad and I think south of the Springs, south of Pueblo. You get maybe into the San Luis Valley. You've got a spot shower storm or two for our friends out that way. But for us here in Denver throughout the Front Range, I mean, we're just going to be absolutely bone dry here as we get through the weekend. And it's not until mid next week that we see any sort of real chance for a shower or storm back in the picture. And we will certainly start to add up to this number, that 90+ degree reading number, where we've already seen 5 days. By the way, the record for June for the most 90-degree days in the month of June, it's 19. We actually set that just a couple of years ago. I think that actually could be in jeopardy, because if you do the math, if we get all the way through next Friday with 90+ degree temperatures starting tomorrow, that'll push us up to 12. So again, we're going to be talking about some record-setting heat, and I think it's probably safe to say at this point as well. I know it's a little early, it's only June the 11th, but I'm going to go ahead and call it that it's going to be a top 15 warmest June on record, and probably a top 10, maybe even a top 5 warmest June on record. This is pretty unusual what we're seeing here throughout the week. So just keep in mind that we're talking about really hot temperatures. Normally we're 82, 83 this time of year, and we're seeing those 90+ readings, with the exception of today, throughout the week. So if you like the cool weather, enjoy today for all you got. Tomorrow to start should be pretty calm and cool as well, but it's tomorrow afternoon when we start getting back to the 90s. Then Sunday we're into the mid-90s. Then Tuesday we're getting close to 100 degrees, and I would bet that somewhere between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we'll hit 100+, if not 2 of those days. So enjoy the calm, cool weather for now. Appreciate all your comments, and thanks for joining us here on Facebook Live and on 9 News Watch. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and hopefully you have a great weekend.